Hi, everybody. It's Mark Rushton of markrushton.com. It is Saturday, April 10th, 2021. And no, this is not Realtor Recon for Artists number 17. This was the last episode. This is Realtor Recon for Artists number 18. This one is going to be about mobile homes and mobile home parks. But I do want to show you the previous one because this is kind of a two-parter here. I wanted to get a little bit outside the convention of a house, a rental property, a property that you would own or something like that, and talk about kind of weird options out there for artists to consider for studio spaces outside their house. And so, what is Realtor Recon for artists? Well, someday I'd like to have a studio workspace outside of my house. It could be a separate home. It could be a rented or purchased commercial location. It could be an outbuilding on an acreage. I just don't know. This could be way in the future. It could be in a big town. It could be in a small town. I'm currently in Iowa, so most of the properties and vehicles and mobile homes that I feature will be located in Iowa. I contend that artists such as musicians, painters, writers, etc., should not be living in expensive big cities or areas if they can help it. If they have a bit of income from their work, they should consider moving somewhere cheap, like in the sticks, and owning property rather than renting. It'll give you time to focus on your work and build your career. Using realty websites is a great way to do some advanced reconnaissance, and that's what I do here with these videos. So in the previous video, I talked about low-end RVs, bunkhouses, and toy haulers. And as you can see here on BitChute, I'm on BitChute, and I'm also on Odyssey, and I'm also on YouTube as well as YouTube. But I do a bit better on the alternative media there. So and yay, right? It's good to be everywhere. So yeah, I talked about that. Really, the only thing I didn't like, the low end RVs. They're a little bit too small, and I've been watching them for many years, and they are nothing but problems. Bunkhouses, it depends on whether or not you have a truck to haul those around, or maybe a piece of property to kind of permanently stake it in, or an outbuilding or a barn to put it in case it's got like a leaky roof. But the thing I did like the most were the toy haulers with the big door in the back. I thought that was something I'm going to check out in the future. So let's get on with the show for today here, and we are going to talk about mobile homes, and we're going to talk mostly about mobile homes in where I am, which is the Iowa City area, which is kind of an expensive area for rental properties and commercial building, and second houses are just ridiculous. But you can still get a mobile home, a manufactured mobile home at a lot for somewhat of a reasonable rate. And it has been something that I haven't completely cast off as far as a studio workspace outside my house. And of course, there's a lot of pluses and minuses and everything like that. So let's get into it here. So there are, first thing I would say right off the bat is that the amount of information available to those who are researching this sort of thing, I don't think you're going to find out most of it until you're sitting down and getting to the point of signing on the dotted line. There's not a lot out there, and you have to kind of do your research. And this is sort of an unconventional use of these sorts of dwellings. And so let's get over to an example here. This is in Modern Manor, 17 Video Court, Iowa City. This is a nice area. $16,000 to buy the mobile home, and then of course after that you have lot rent, you have utilities, and things like that. But $16,000, if you have $16,000 and can just buy a unit, then you're just kind of on the hook for lot rent, utilities. Lot rent, it differs from park to park. Typically, kind of the average is somewhere in the $350 to $400 a month range, and then utilities are what they are as far as what you're using, which may not be very much. The water and the sewer is going to be a lot because it's a lot here in Iowa City because they built the new water treatment. So you can drink the water now. You couldn't drink the water when I was going to school here 30 years ago. It was a bit chlorinated. It was like drinking a pool. But it's a lot better now. But you do pay for it. $16,000. Now these sorts of things, a lot of these mobile home parks, you have to buy the mobile home. But other places will let you rent it. But if you rent it, I mean, you're going to pay a minimum of $658 a month for just renting the unit. That doesn't include lot rent necessarily. That doesn't include utilities. Pretty soon you're over $1,000. You might as well just go rent a dinky little apartment somewhere and do work out of that if you're going to go about that way. But if you go and have this sort of money, like you've got $16,000 saved up, or you put it on a credit card, and we'll get to that here in a second. Here, it's the math isn't too bad. So here is like your typical. Let's go back to the listing details here. Is this like it's like a 16 by 80, I believe it is here. But there's a lot of room in these. And again, once you have everything out of here, you got lots of great workspaces. Put down your drop cloths, put in your desks or whatever if you want to, like a recording studio. Drop cloths if you're going to be making art in there. And then you don't have to do anything else. You just dust every now and then, vacuum every now and then. The place will not age as long as you keep it clean, keep it up. And that's a nice bathroom. I always love the double sink thing. Like you're going to get two people standing next to each other. Why? Why did people do that? Even in the nice homes, right? This is perfectly good. Nice big open space. You know what? It's the weekend or whatever. You're doing something. I'm going to make myself a sandwich. There you go. Tons of room, right? And then you could just have a nice area to hang out in. And so that's perfectly nice. Now, $16,000. If you don't have the money for that, yes, you can. If you have the credit, you could put it on a credit card. And if the minimum payment is as low as 2%, it's usually between 2 and 5%. You would want it to be as low as possible. Your monthly payment would probably be around $320 if you wanted to go the credit card route. So you get $320, you got maybe another $350 to $400 in lot rent, and then you got maybe another $100 a month or something like that in utilities after that. So, but around here, that's not bad. That's better than leasing. That's better than leasing a storefront or a little hovel somewhere. It's expensive, and then you get into leases too. Whereas this, I don't know what the terms of the leases are here with the lot rent and everything like that, but these things are pretty well snapped up pretty quickly. I think even this one, sale pending, 16,000. Of course, sale pending. Someone's just going to snap it up like that. So if you don't have $16,000, try to put it on a credit card, right? But try not to rent these things because they can be pretty pricey for the amount here. And of course, if you don't do too much to the place, or you keep it up, or maybe you improve things, you paint a few things or whatever, if you're only in it for like a year or two or something like that, you could probably sell it for about what you paid for it. It's not really, mobile homes never go up in value. It's extremely rare if that ever happens. But again, if you're only in it for a year or two, you want a space, just like, listen, I just want to get out of the house and do my thing. This might be a good option. Now, there's lots of different, where you may be, there may be lots of different types of mobile homes. And the one out on the south end of town is called Bon Air. And again, we can go out there and we can look at the reviews, and that's funny. That's funny to go through the reviews. But there was something very interesting about Bon Air that I liked. And it's like, uh, let's see, where is it here? Find it here. Family owned and operated. Now, most of the mobile home parks around are being bought up by large companies, not necessarily locally owned. So that's another thing you have to be careful of. Look what happened to the malls, right? Once you started selling off to it, they're all being torn down now. So local ownership is very important. And here's some of the things, of course, that they offer. No dogs allowed. That's interesting. Yeah, because you don't, if you have a studio workspace in there, you don't want to have somebody, and that's the problem with buying a house. You might have somebody that decides to just leave it outside all day long, all night long, and everything like that. So that's a big plus. You kind of do want that peace and quiet. Of course, that doesn't prevent somebody from having an extremely loud motorcycle, right? Or one of those pickup trucks with 6 wheels and diesel and right? It's just, but what else we got here? So then you had the Google reviews out here, which are the rates. The rates keep rising and the service level keeps declining. And absolutely one of the worst trailer parks you could live in. Management is horrendous. And then there's always some little minor thing that, oh, wait, you signed the lease, but you don't want to abide by the lease. So I'm going to leave a negative review. That's brilliant. Manager of the park was really, I wonder why. We never had any problems. Could it be your pit bull? I don't know. Look at this. It enforces rules like many junk cars. Well, the great thing about being, having certain means, whether it be $16,000 to buy a unit, $24,000 to buy a unit, or deciding to throw in a credit card, you can have your pick of the litter. It's not like you have to live there, right? This is going to be a space where you're going to be working evenings, maybe a day during the day if you're retired or something like that, weekends and things like that. You can kind of have the pick of the litter there. And you do have some good reviews here. Rude old lady working in the office. I think I'd love a rude old lady, right? I'm not going to be causing any problems. Actually, the interesting thing is, I do wonder about how you would have to sell yourself as an artist to rent one of these. If you're buying a unit and then you're renting a lot, how would you have to sell yourself as a, like in my situation, right? Where I'm married, I have a house, I have, a day job in the community and everything like that. How would I present myself? Here's how I would present myself. I would, and I would say something like that. The wife and I are having some problems, and and I just something like that, right? And the thing is, your car would be out front some of the time, right? You'd be there in the evenings and weekends doing your thing, bringing stuff in, putting garbage out, cleaning the windows. Hi neighbor. Oh, how's it going? I'm just you don't have to tell anybody anything, right? But in the front office, yeah, they're going to be suspicious about anybody. If I come in and go, I just want to buy a mobile home so I can, make my art and do my record. They're not going to understand that. They're going to think you're weirdo, right? What's going on? It's like Breaking Bad. They're going to be manufacturing meth in there, right? Or they're going to be sub-renting it to criminals, right? It's just like, no. You have to like, we're, we're having we need to, we're having a little separation anxiety thing going on right now. So I kind of need my space, and, it's kind of a personal thing, and oh, I totally understand. No problem, right? Don't worry. She won't be coming around, except to clean the windows. I wouldn't even say that. Just say as little as possible, right? As long as you got the money, right? Pay that money, keep it all clean. One car, maybe you have a friend come by and do a little recording, but don't be loud. Don't be loud. Don't attract attention. Don't no nothing burning, right? So that's something out there. The other thing you need to do is you need to do a little bit of research into the perception of mobile homes in the area where you are. Now, if I had an acreage or something like that where I uh, had a bunch of land and stuff like that and could put a mobile home on, I might do that. That would be something interesting. But then you have to deal with your county ordinances and all that sort of stuff, and talk to the local zoning and all that sort of stuff. Um, but if you're interested in buying a unit from, well, actually, let's go back here. One more thing I want to talk about is moving a unit. You never want to move a unit. Never want to move a mobile home. That costs like $5,000 to $7,000. Forget it. Unless you're moving it to your own property, absolutely forget it. Don't do that. Just buy one that's in there and deal with it, right? So you've got this thing here in Johnson County. We have the mobile home task force, right? And so all the local politicians, they have their meetings, and they have their they talk about here in the monthly cost of lot rent in Johnson County averaged from $250 to $450 in 2019. It's probably gone up a little bit since then because the money printer went burr, right? And affordability, yes, it's the last, other than sleeping under the bridge, it's the last bit of affordability out there. Because apartments are so expensive and houses have just gone through the roof. And we talk about this. We talk about local ownership of manufactured home communities. And this is actually a pretty good, the local rate for relocating a mobile home from one community to another, $5,000 to $7,000 a unit. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. And of course, the recommendations, of course, give them somebody else's money. Yeah, that's always a good one. Partner with local banking institutions to back loans to owner occupants of, God. Strengthen zoning ordinances. What does that mean? Strengthening zoning ordinances. Commit to a regular review. And so, yeah. And so this is interesting here. This sort of stuff. Rent protection. Fair fee. It's got to be fair. It's going to be fair. So we need somebody else's money. I joke. Anyway, that's local government for you. It's always about somebody else's money. And so getting away from, so you need to understand that the dynamic, what is their opinion about mobile homes, manufactured homes. Now, again, Johnson County is a little bit of an anomaly because it's kind of an expensive part of the state, although other parts of the state are catching up. But then there are other parts of the state that have lower costs of living. And I would say one example of this would be like this one here in Muscatine. Muscatine, if you look at the price of homes, they're much, much less. However, the thing about mobile homes is they're going to be about the same everywhere. Some of the older units might be a little bit cheaper. The lot rents might be a little on the lower end. And the utilities may be a little bit less too. So in a small town, the thing about mobile manufactured housing is that price point for those older units may be comparable to an older house, but again, you have to look at the big picture. What are the are there dogs allowed outside, right? Are there going to be motorcycles roaring at all hours of the day and night, right? Big trucks and things like that. I guess it just depends on the situation. So in a smaller town, in a cheaper town like Muscatine or Ottumwa or even Waterloo, uh, you're going to be you might be better off buying a house, or if you go out maybe 8 or 10 miles outside of town, you might be better off buying an older building, an older commercial property or something like that. So when you get into the cheaper parts of the state, this sort of thing, mobile homes, you know, doesn't look to be such a good idea. So anyway, that's sort of my take on mobile homes and mobile home parks for using them as a studio workspace outside my house. I think for some place like Iowa City, it might be a good option. I think the numbers are pretty good. If I had, down here, $16,000, and then you got to come up with an extra maybe $550 a month on lot rent and utilities. Not bad, not bad. Because great thing about living in an expensive town like Iowa City or a university town like Iowa City, if I turned around and I was like, you know what, I'm done with this, I'm not going to do this anymore, I can turn around and I can sell the unit probably for about what I paid for it. So I'm sure I'm going to have to pay a few percent to somebody there. Probably not a realtor, but anyway, that's out there. So anyway, that is it. That is Realtor Recon for artist number 18. I'm Mark Rushton of MarkRushton.com. It is Saturday, April 10th, 2021, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Hopefully we'll have something interesting, something even crazier to talk about in the next one. Maybe some downtown buildings somewhere, or maybe carriage houses. I'd also like to talk about gambrel garages. Gambrel garages with the apartment on top, the Fonzie apartment, from Happy Days. That's coming up there too. So anyway, that is it for today, and we'll talk to you later.